Hey everyone, this is Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet
All
Mer.
right, so this week up on the docket, of course, as always, we're going to be starting off with anything we have for you all this week, and
Account updates.
yeah, account updates and maybe videos and shorts like that. And then we'll be going into the very small amount of things to actually update you on this week. Spoiler alert, we will go over this later as well, but there's not going to be many more updates left for the rest of the year.
I love how
So,
dramatic it sounds like the rest of the year.
yeah, so it definitely seems like Jagex is winding down the updates for this month.
For the
So,
holiday season.
yeah, I wouldn't expect too much more besides more leagues updates, which is what's going to be happening today.
Yeah.
And then we'll be ending off with our Q&A, typical. So if you want to participate in the Q&A, ask us anything RuneScape related, other game related, or real life. Feel free to ask us anywhere on any of our social medias, but especially in our Discord at discord.gg/Bunebape,
hmm
where we have a questions section, would probably be the best place.
Cool.
Yeah, but before we get into any of that super exciting stuff, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going super, super well. I'm still into leagues. I am doing woodcutting right now. So if you see me looking at my screen, I'm not doing it on mobile, I'm doing it on my computer. I'm trying to get like my woodcutting fletching, and I want magic logs for Shades of Morton. So I'm just getting as much magic logs as I can, really.
Yeah.
But I've still been enjoying leagues. I'm not as obsessed. I'm not really playing it as much in the middle of the day now. Unfortunately, I have started becoming obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3 again, which is,
Unfortunate.
it's such a good game, man. It's such a good game. But I have still been playing it like on stream and like AFKing every once in a while. I have 29,610 points now. As of the other day, I am now in adamant rank, which is exciting because I've now surpassed my progress on last leagues. No idea how I got Mithril on last leagues. I wonder if I'm misremembering because
Maybe it was
or maybe
easier
it's
to
just, yeah,
get.
maybe it was easier to get.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all I did in the other one was fish and cook. Like I literally just like Catherby the whole time.
Yeah, it might have been easier because like
I think
these
my
ones
inventory
are
on
these ones
stuff.
are just like arbitrarily set, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. So
So
they probably set it higher,
yeah, they could have just
presumably.
assumed that it'd be easier.
But yeah, so I have unlocked Adamant. Very excited about that. I still kind of want to try and go for Rune, but I'm 12,390 points away. So, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I did a couple of things on it though this week, some things of significance. So I got I think I might have said last week, I got a whip, which was a huge, huge, huge upgrade. With my whip, I went and sent a couple of TOAs and I got my Fang kit and a Fang in my name, which is so cool. I got it in the same KC because we did like a 300 with like the plus 200 extra thing, 4 leagues.
Yeah.
And that was really, really exciting. I saw the purple chest and I saw it was mine, and I like definitely sniped it. I was a leech because the other person I was with dating was doing way more damage than me.
But I mean, you won, so
Yeah, but I won and I leeched the purple and it was a Fang, so it was
it
perfect.
was 3 shadows.
I don't even want a shadow in leagues. I want a shadow in my main. Because people in chat were like, "Oh, shadow incoming," and I was like, "Nope, Fang, please, God."
And you got it.
Yeah, and now I would like a shadow because I want an autocast like thing. What's it called? A staff.
A charge staff.
Yeah, charge staff would be nice. But I've also been like sending a couple tobs. We're only at like 3 or 4 top KC, but no one has gone to purple yet, which is like weird considering at TOA it's like every single raid. So hopefully, like if I could get Scythe there, that would be amazing. Or even Sanguinesti would be nice. Another task I've been trying to do is get an Unsired from Abyssal Sire. And it's like a 1 out of 20 drop, and I'm at like 64 KC and I still haven't gotten it. It's just I don't
Nice.
even know.
Super lucky.
So lucky. Oh, I guess like kind of probably didn't say last week. I'm all done at God War Dungeon now. I ended up getting the
Well, not
shard.
next.
Well, not next. The other ones, the standard ones. So I was grinding for the Godsword Shard 3 and just like getting all the drops. I've gotten all the gear and the weapons from all 4 of the standard bosses. And then right after I got my Fang, I was like, all right, now that I have a Fang, I'm gonna go grind for this Godsword Shard 3. And I got on my first KC. So have a Bando's Godsword now. I still need the next hilt to do like the wielding all of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could use the same like shards for every sword and just switch them out. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
No idea that's a thing. I was like, I'm gonna have to get a lot of shards. So really, really excited about that. Finished with Galwar Dungeon. I kind of really liked Galwar Dungeon though, so like maybe someday I'll go and just get all the
Go
swords.
back. Well, I mean, there is a task to kill
Oh
a
yeah, there's
single
tasks.
God Wars dungeon boss like 500 times or something,
True. Next counts for that though. I do need Torva.
but it's a single one.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to do 500
Next.
next.
I mean, I feel like next will take longer than others because I haven't gotten anything from next since been like 20 something KC, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like by 20 something KC, I at least gotten one or two things from every other boss.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm so sad. I like last night after we raided, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I like made a list on my little like notes on my computer of like easy tasks that I could do and like wrote out the steps for them too. Today I went and accidentally like didn't save all of the notes that I
Oh,
wrote.
nice. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So I remember like three of them and I went and wrote those down because I was like, I still want to do like task and stuff, but that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then on the main, what have I been doing? I realized that you don't have to just get ancient assets from Muspa. You can literally just buy it at the GE. So I was at Abyssal
Yep.
Demons for a little bit. Haven't gotten a whip. Haven't been doing it the most consistently. And that aside, I also this week am sponsored by Genshin Impact. I've never been sponsored by Genshin Impact before. I've never even played Genshin Impact
It's pretty
before.
fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So I'll put the link like in our episode description if anyone wants to download. Like if you haven't played before, it's mobile or PC, but it's like the goals are make a new character, get level 6, and then finish like I don't remember the name. It's like something about flight guide. It's a quest, something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna play it tonight for the first time.
That's cool.
Someone told me it could take like an hour, so I was like, oh, that's not too bad. Because if someone does all those goals, they get like $27. But you can't have had an account before.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I have played the game
I
before.
know. One of our mods went like made it and like got to level 6, and they're like, oh, never mind. I've actually had an account. This isn't gonna count. And I was like, oh, okay.
Unfortunate.
Never mind. So yeah, I'll try that tonight, and I'm super excited about it. And I feel like I have more stuff that I'm gonna interrupt you in the middle, but that's all I can really think about right
Well,
now.
that's cool. Also, if it seems like our updates are longer than normal, it's because there is like not much to talk about in
Hmm.
the update today.
I don't even think our updates. I feel like our updates were longer like in the past few weeks because we are doing more leagues.
Yeah,
You have some interesting updates.
not really.
Technically leagues.
Yeah, I was like, not really, but
Interesting to me.
yeah, definitely not interesting at all. I don't know why she said that, but anyways, so I've like slowly stopped playing
I
leagues.
think that's what's interesting. Is why you're stopping
Um,
what you're gonna do instead.
well, I mean, I kind of already mentioned it. It's because Path of Exile comes out in 2 days, and that's
So he does have leagues updates,
you've
not our
she's
leagues.
been wanting to say something about me still playing leagues, but alluding to me playing leagues in a different game
Hmm.
like all day long.
Do you guys remember how when before Leagues Rob was like, I think I'm gonna make content for Leagues, and then he didn't, and I was like, Yo, you should make some for Path of Exile, and be like, Yeah, I started making some League content, and it's just
Yeah,
all PoE
that's
gaming.
actually what I meant the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think he ever clarified RuneScape Leagues. He just said
Yeah, I
Leagues.
mean they call them leagues as well. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's the new league is coming out. I forgot the name of it. Affliction, I think is the name of it. Yeah, I don't know what you're getting afflicted by, but anyways,
Death and destruction.
yeah. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, I've been pretty much just quote unquote playing Path of Exile the last like 3 days.
I didn't realize until he showed me someone's stream that Path of Exile is just staring at
It's just
words.
like a lot of playing, quote unquote Path of Exile is really just doing a math equation and then
Yeah,
actually playing the game.
it's weird. He showed me, he was like, this is like 90% of the game. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
So like the game is really, really mathematical and there's, a
I'm sure
ton
there's
of
ways to avoid that.
there is.
Probably, I was like,
You
I don't
can
want to
just
scare anyone away from the game
no,
because I don't like math.
you can just follow someone else's guide and they
Mhm.
have the whole thing
If I
done
ever
for
play,
you.
that's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's what most people do and
Yeah.
that's what is suggested. But like because like there's a bunch of new skills coming out, like people are myself included just like kind of going through there are tools that allow you to like theoretically craft out a build and stuff like that. So essentially I just spend like, several hours a day just going through and, pretending as if I were setting up my build to be something, and like what I would play as, and like researching and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't expecting this much prep beforehand.
Yeah,
I
because
guess
I
that's what
mean,
people do for RuneScape too.
yeah, it's
I just kind of
kind of the same thing
you
for
actually did
RuneScape.
the same thing for RuneScape. You planned it out pretty thoroughly, and I was just like, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a planner.
because I didn't play that much like leagues, so like time investment. I didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of time, so I kind of had to like kind of know what I was doing in order to like keep up with people.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. If you're working full time, you had to put a little bit more planning into it.
yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, I haven't played pretty much, besides like some AFK stuff, really any RuneScape at all. And also, I've been like not wanting to play as much just because it's getting to the part in leagues where you start
Have to grind.
having to grind. It's like, oh, you have to get 99s, which are, that's not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, oh, you have to get 100 of this boss. And then when it becomes things like that, I'm kind of like thinking to myself, like, why don't I just do that in the real game?
Yeah, that's like I think a lot of people feel it. That's why I actually really like early level games because there's so much to do and stuff. But then, like as you finish all these tasks, the tasks slowly start becoming like, all right, now you have to go and like grind fletching to 95 or whatever.
Yeah. If it was like,
Obviously, there's still some quick stuff, but like maybe it's not exactly what you want to do.
yeah, if it was more along the lines of like, kill this boss 5 times or 10 times, but
They're usually like 50.
once it becomes like such a not a very long grind, because obviously you're still killing bosses really fast. When it becomes a long enough grind, that I'm like, oh, this is like significant amounts of time.
For me, it's just like if it takes more than 25 minutes, then sometimes I just don't want to do that task.
Yeah,
I just want to do something quick. I like the quick ones. They're the most fun to me.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of it was getting to that point anyways. So I don't think I'm done playing leagues
Hopefully
necessarily,
not.
but
Because I want to see you with the Guardian.
with the Jardian.
Yeah, your RuneScape girlfriend.
Yeah, true. Also, they added something for
The GF I saw.
yeah, for that in the update
We'll
that
go
we'll
over
go
it.
over. But yeah, so I've never had any real goals for leagues, but yeah, I mean, I'm still planning on playing some more. That being
You can still
said,
go to top with us
I yeah,
in your
sure.
obby gear,
Yeah, that being said, I don't have obby gear.
in your rune gear.
No, I have bandos.
Oh my god, I forgot you.
I got full bandos before you.
Sorry, now that I have a Fang, it's just like I kind of feel like I'm superior in every way.
Yeah,
So
whoa, you're so superior. You got carried through a TOA, you leech. But
you've not even done TOA.
okay. Do we need
He's
to go back to
literally not done
do we need
TOA.
to go back to the Sorcerer's Garden thing?
No,
Okay.
move on.
Anyways, yeah, but I was having a lot of fun just looking at all these different kinds of builds
POE.
for Path of Exile. I don't know what I want to play because, like I said, they are coming out with a lot of new stuff. This
He's
is
changed his mind every day, I think,
It's
on what his
because
build's gonna be.
it's not typical for this to happen, but yeah, 100 new skills came out, so there's like only, I don't know, probably like around 100 in the game base,
Yeah.
and then there's like 3 variants of each one. So they pretty much are just removing all the variants and just adding new variants, which is essentially just new skills, and they interact in really weird ways and like ways that we've never seen before and stuff like that. So that's why
Nice.
there's so much more theory crafting than
Imagine it's like their
previous.
relics, kind of.
It's kind of like relics, but
'Cause you're
if you
mixing
had
them
like
around.
100 relics.
We need 100 relics.
I know, right? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, actually probably not really. But yeah, I think that's it.
Hmm.
I don't think I need to go too far into Path of Exile because I feel like most people probably don't know or
Some
play Path of
people
Exile.
like it. Also, that's why we have episode timestamps.
True.
I did forget them like 2 weeks ago. I noticed yesterday and I was like, I'm just gonna add this real quick.
Yeah, but I don't have any real life updates or anything like that. Just
Okay.
been thinking about Path of Exile. Working out, typical.
I was gonna say, I just randomly remembered because you were like talking about videos. I am kind of half working on a video about the last forestry update. Just a heads up. I've like started writing like a little script for it because I have to write stuff down, otherwise I can't do it.
Okay.
And I've also been posting like little VOD videos, just like literal, just like VODs where I edit out the censoring, But if you like can't make the stream and you're interested in what the stream's like, you can check that out.
Cool.
I just ran. You said like videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, I never said that. And I've been playing short set every day. But yeah, one of the VOD videos I did too was me getting my first leagues purple. I also am like maybe gonna make one of me getting the Fang and the Fang kit. We'll see. I don't know what I was talking about though. I think I was talking about
You got
my
them both in the same rate, right?
yeah. So I think that'd be like a good VOD one. But also I think I'm talking about my sponsorship at the time during it. So I'm like, if I'm not sponsored by them anymore, I don't know if that's weird to keep.
I
So
don't think it's that weird.
not that weird. I'll
No.
just go through and see. Because sometimes I also just say very personal things in the middle of raids. And I'm like, oh, that's not going in a video.
Yeah.
But we saw something relevant to the purple discussion.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting because I've been like already seeing posts about next leagues, obviously, which is kind of funny
Before leagues is
because
even out, people are talking about next leagues.
yeah, of course. But yeah, so I've been seeing more posts about next league and stuff like that. And someone brought up why, because obviously with leagues, everyone, the only content you can do together as an Iron Man is raids. And
hmm
the only raid you can get multiple purples in for some reason is chambers.
Yeah, dude. Seems like Chambers is like insane. Like people are doing mass raids and getting like 5 purples. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm exaggerating, but I know they're getting a lot.
just 89 purples.
Yeah, pretty much. Like 3 per person.
But yeah, so they're saying what if, well, not just like what if they change that next league, but like what else would you change next league?
I mean, okay. Well, the post like we like stopped in the middle because we're like, wait, we need to find this post actually. But specifically what made me want to talk about it was this person who said that they got a shadow at 25 KC, but now whenever they do TA with their friends, they don't even want to bring the shadow because it just keeps getting them points and they just keep getting more purples and their friends aren't getting any purples. And it's like I was kind of disappointed by that too, even though it's like I know it's how the main game works, but it's leagues. Like if you're doing like a 700 raid, I don't think it'd be that weird to have like multiple purple chances potentially roll. I don't know if I sound like super greedy, but that's something I'd really want next time is that multiple people could get purples at TOA and top. I don't know
Yeah.
how they'd make it work. I'd like appearance wise or code wise, but it is like unfortunate that Chambers is the only one that multiple people could get it because if you're running with a lot of people, it's just like, okay, well, you have to hope that the single purple that's guaranteed is in your name.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it seems like code wise, it seems like in chambers, each person has independent role
Mm-hmm.
for purples. And that just doesn't seem to really be the case at theater or TOA.
I'm kind of curious how it works if it like rolls per team, purple yes or no, and then it rolls for whoever gets it.
I think that's what it must do. Like it must
Yeah,
be
it's
like
kind of
your
strange.
percent chance is this, you got a purple, then it rolls again to see who gets the purple.
But then like at the same time, that would be rolling for team luck, which is kind of weird. Because then that kind of makes it seem like points are pointless.
Then maybe it rolls per person.
What if 2 people rolled yes? Is it just like one has to roll
Yeah,
higher?
whoever gets the higher one.
I don't like that. I mean, for
Yeah,
main game, it's fine, whatever.
because if it's like if it rolls like 1 out of 100,000, and then like you get
Yeah,
more, yeah, maybe you had more points because you were MVP, so you get the purple.
that's really weird. Yeah, because sometimes, like, I'll be a leech and I'll get it, and I'm like, I don't even know how that physically happened.
Yeah.
That's really
So
interesting.
yeah, I
I
feel
don't know
like
how it works, but I wish for leagues that you could get multiple.
yeah, obviously there was like a lot of work involved with leagues and making things leagues appropriate esque, but I feel like they could. I mean, I, obviously it seems like no one works at Jagex, so this is like a far reach. But
Sheesh, sassy.
I was gonna say like it feels like they could put more work into making leagues like feel more like special in that way, like where like things only happen like this in leagues, for
Oh,
example.
yeah.
Um,
I'm not opposed to that at all.
just making things more custom, I guess,
hmm
to leagues. And yeah, I don't know, just like all the, all the like clues and stuff like that kind of just made it seem like they weren't really, I mean, there's a lot obviously to think about, and I don't think they would ever have it 100% right, but like
Definitely not.
I just think like if you thought that stuff through, it would be kind of obvious that you would want stuff like that
hmm
to happen, where you are getting multiple purples, because I don't know who would ever want to like go with friends and feel like
Well,
it's
like
a waste of time.
originally I was wanting to do like a lot of people in raids because it's guaranteed purples, for just doing a 300 if there's like several people. And then now everyone's like, if you're trying to grind for a Fang, you only do duos. And I'm like, oh, okay. That kind of sucks because you want
Yeah.
to have like a higher chance of you being the lucky one to get a purple.
Yeah, or even, I mean, just solo it, because obviously it's a lot easier
Yeah.
by yourself, even because of all the upgrades and stuff like that.
My
It's
mage hits are so bad ain't no way.
well, yeah, I mean, if you are
If
a
you have good
mage,
gear.
yeah, if you are a mage or a ranger, I feel like it'd probably be a lot easier to
Yeah,
convince you to do
Melee's
this.
not a good raid for TOA.
Yeah, it's really good for theater, right? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like kind of obvious
Yeah.
once you think about it.
I'm not suggesting this for main game by any means, so
Yeah.
if you think it sounds like Easy Scape, no, it's not because it's a special game.
Yeah,
It's
it's not like any
special.
of this actually matters. It'll all go away in like
Hmm.
a couple weeks. So,
I do think it's so funny. People keep saying to me like, "Oh, when are you gonna play main game?" Or if you're like subset, "Oh, is this man game?" I don't know. I think that it was a Freudian slip and it was sexism.
oh, okay.
But I've been like, sometimes I have like existential crisis because I'm like, oh my god, it is like temporary. Like, what's the point of this? But then I'm like, wait, what's the point of RuneScape? And then I'm like, what's the point of streaming, of working? And then I just like have a whole life
Okay.
crisis. So I wanted to say, just don't overthink it if you're like me. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Just a little segue there, real quick, to say that because people will ask me that, and I'm just like, you're not gonna make me switch to main game. You're gonna make me overthink my entire existence.
Okay.
It's not
Well,
relevant. Just wanted to
any
share that with you guys.
anyways, yeah, so but I guess kind of like back to the question,
Oh yeah, what would you want to
obviously,
change?
yeah, obviously we think like TOA and theater should probably reward multiple purples.
Mm-hmm.
But
Maybe just rarely.
what else do you think would probably be like you're like, "Oh, this is kind of like not cool," or you
Um,
wish would happen?
nothing I could. Okay, well, this isn't even like a leagues thing. This is kind of like the what it's like an interface thing. Something that's very frustrating that you've noticed too is how many global things I am not allowed to do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish that they made it so you could customize your task list and be like, hide this. There's so much stuff that I will like the Mask of Rebirth shows up under global, and I spend like an hour trying to get that and get a Camula and all that stuff before realizing that by global they meant you also have to have like Apatol unlocked. And I was like, okay, so it's not global. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why show up here? Even the wiki does that. So that's like something that's kind of frustrating. Something that I thought was a thing in leagues that isn't, that I think would make sense, but I know this would be a hot take, is I thought that pets would be boosted.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
they've never been boosted.
I thought they were boosted because you and Anim both got Rocky like immediately.
Yeah, just a high chance from squirking.
Yeah. He was doing pickpocketing men.
Well, I guess with no fail chance, it's probably just high anyways.
True. But yeah, I thought that was like kind of weird. It's not something like a big deal or whatever, but I mean, in my mind, like pets are like less special in leagues, so
Yeah.
I guess some people still think of it as just as special. So I was like, yeah, might as well just boost that too.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. And then just like maybe some of the smaller things on drop tables, like because some stuff are unclear to me. Like I got a Zamrock spear from a minion at Zammy, and I don't know if that was boosted or not. I don't think it was.
I think so.
It only says on there from Krill, so I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, that's true.
My thing is just like I want more clarity and more options to customize menus.
Yeah, no, I could definitely I guess that would definitely help if they had more like clarity on like what is or isn't boosted, where certain drop rates like are affected, like mini games and stuff like that. Like it should be more
Wasn't
clear.
Temperos not affected?
Yeah, Temperos isn't.
Which, like, you would assume Temperos is. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird which things are and aren't affected by certain boosts
Mm-hmm.
and like XP and stuff like that. Because there were mobs I was killing in the game that aren't XP boosted. I don't know if that's a bug
It
or
probably was a
what.
bug. I know that, like, the Enchanted Valley or
Yeah, the
whatever,
Enchanted Valley.
they just don't give much XP in general. So that is boosted. I looked them up because I was confused.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they give, like, no XP normally. So you're
Yeah.
getting, like, normal XP rates now.
Yeah, that's really
Because I
weird.
went dry there. I went like it's like 1 out of 25 or 30, and I went like 90 something KC to get an axe.
Huh, that's really weird. Something that I thought would be interesting though, because it kind of reminds me of like roguelite games,
Hmm.
and a lot of roguelite games are like kind of like leagues where you're foregoing one upgrade in order to get, the upgrade that you go for.
Hmm.
And I thought it'd be cool
Like how sometimes I
to,
wish I had Executioner's Axe.
yeah, exactly. But and so like obviously there's like that drawback, but I kind of like the idea of how so like there obviously there's leagues in Path of Exile, and one of the more popular ones actually kind of recently was a roguelike, but instead of just giving you power, it also gave you, or it also took away power, or had like a negative as well.
Interesting.
And usually it would like coincide, like the stronger the power, the stronger the negative effect was.
Oh.
Like
Do you
there's
think you'd
this
want that in RuneScape though? I mean, that's kind of like Ruinous Powers, how Ruinous Powers is supposed to be.
that's how Rune Aspires is supposed to be, but honestly there's like zero
It kind
downsides.
of feels like it's just normal
It literally just
prayers.
feels like a more beast mode version of the regular prayer book.
Yeah, like I don't even necessarily feel like I'm getting hit more, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm honestly glad they didn't add it in its current state, because it kind of just seems like you would only ever use it.
That's what everyone's issue was. They were like, yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason to stay in the normal. It's too similar.
Yeah.
Now we've turned into a ruinous power as a tangent, but it's like it's way too similar to the normal one.
Yeah.
But then when it was really different, people complained. So it's like I don't know how that they can balance that.
Honestly, if this is like their idea of a new prayer book, I kind of think they should just like scrap it and go with like a utility prayer book or
Wow,
something.
interesting.
Just
I
because
don't know how I feel
like
about that.
the like in its current state, it is literally just a better version of the base prayer book. Like there's nothing you lose
Hmm.
from the base prayer book.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't protect you quite as much as overheads, I think, but
No, it's a
it's
hundred. It's
really.
100%. So it's the same. You don't take
I
any
thought it was
chip damage.
90.
No, it's 100, and then you have increased chance to get hit from off prayer things.
Oh, increased damage taken. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
It's
like
up to 100%. I don't know necessarily what that means.
that is just
It's just
taking
like if it doesn't
into,
hit you, like.
no, that's taking into account bosses that can hit through prayer.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because it's still, I think for some bosses or some enemies, and also it's for PvP because it
Mm-hmm.
can do up to 100%, but it's not always 100%. So that's why the wording's that way.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
understand the wording, and I thought that meant it wasn't completely.
No, yeah. So they changed it to this because it used to be the 90%, but everyone's like crying about chip damage, so
Oh
they took it away.
yeah, that's funny. True. Everyone does hate chip damage. It
Yeah,
is annoying.
because I mean, if you're looking at it, like it has retribution, it has
The
better
offenses.
versions of rigor
It
and
has,
piety.
dude. What I didn't realize is so good is the Umber's Vow. So attacks reduce your opponent's defense by 5% the damage dealt up to 15%. So if you don't have a defense
Yeah.
spec weapon, I like forgot what all the prayers were, and people were like, "Why aren't you using that?" So now I'm using that whenever I forget my BGS, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, cool,
and you can
okay,
use it with BGS to get to whatever
yeah."
the like
Max.
the max or the bottom
You could
of their
use
defense
that
is.
with your offensive, by the way. So hit harder
Yeah.
and more accurately as well.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of makes sense to me that they should have made all the vows, Umbra's vow and stuff like that. They should have made those overheads,
Yeah, either
because
overheads or instead of offensive at least.
yeah, something like
Combined with the
that.
offensive, that's like a lot.
Honestly, they should have made like I think they tried to do this initially where they made a bunch, like a few of them overheads, so you could really only choose. But then everyone's like, "Oh, why would I ever do that? Because I'm just gonna take a bunch of damage." So they just
We're just all too
didn't do that.
uncreative to imagine a different prayer book, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't do it, then I think they should just make it like a utility prayer book.
Hmm.
I mean, they're not gonna, do it anytime
All we
soon,
want is
but
the bread on fire,
the bread on fire. Yeah,
which I
something
also
that
think
makes
they
it so
need.
like maybe you cook multiple things at a time or fish multiple things at a time. Like I don't know, like there's stuff that you could think
Well, then it
of.
might be too clear of a line between the skilling prayer book and the PVMers prayer book.
Well, I mean, it's better than what it is now, which is the PVMers prayer book and the PVMers prayer book that did DT2.
Yeah, true.
It's like not a real big difference.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I definitely think it needs to be adjusted. It's fun for leagues. It feels like a busted prayer book for leagues.
Yeah, it feels appropriate for leagues.
Yeah, maybe not for main
I wouldn't want
game.
to see it in the game, to be honest.
Yeah, some of them I'd want to see, but not quite as they are yet.
Yeah. Besides that though, yeah, so like the drawbacks though, which
Mm-hmm.
is what I think we are originally talking about is
Went off the rails.
something I kind of think would be interesting in the game, but like maybe as like more busted rewards from raids or from certain things. Or
Okay.
like something to change up the game because leagues is interesting, but it's really just the main game on fast forward,
Yeah.
right?
Something that's just different from regular.
Yeah, like maybe something that's like, oh, I guess I'll go kill Briafita, and then like an item, maybe it's like a D sim drops from Briafita, but it makes it so like you hit harder, but you take chip damage, like
You
in
want
correlation
special
with it.
leagues only weapons?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, this could potentially be really cool for the time being, like because if you had like I don't know, like a D, for example, this is probably a terrible example, but just as an example, like if you did kill Briofita, got like a rare drop, which was a D sim, which would be best in slot at that time if you're killing her,
Likely,
chances
unless you
are.
enter weirdly late.
Yeah. And then made it so it did like more damage or was more accurate, but like you took a percentage of the damage, or maybe it drained parts of your prayer or something like that when you used it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like one that changes the meta of like how you're playing the game because like I said, it's kind of boring for me just like playing the game. This is the same game
Yeah,
over and over and over
I just
again.
like early games. So I like it.
Yeah, especially this being like my fifth account. I'm like how many.
You've done the beginner stuff so many times.
Yeah, it's like if you pickpocket a man 100 times, if you do that 500 times, on 5 different accounts or whatever, it's like that's you're just playing the same game again, even if it's more XP, right?
I I have another idea after yours.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. Like there should
Yeah.
be like I think there would be cool things to like mix up the meta that also have drawbacks, so it's not just like, oh, you killed Obor and you got ruinous powers. Like that would just be weird.
Yeah.
But
Fair.
yeah, something like that.
Something that I think I would like. I don't know if this is too spicy. So, something that kept me going when I was like maybe feeling a little more unmotivated was the fact that I really wanted to try out the tier 8 relics. I wonder if the relics should have been unlockable earlier,
Yeah.
just because they're what makes leagues so unique. Like the thing that everyone wants to try is tier 8, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who quit before they even got to try it.
Yeah, like I've never tried it. I have
Yeah.
like 1,000 more points.
Yeah. It's maybe like too much of a grind, but I don't want it to be like I don't know, too quick, but it is such like a fast gameplay. I don't really see like a drawback, and maybe making it like just a little bit faster,
Yeah.
like scaling it a little better because it took me like I know some people obviously were getting it within like a week or whatever, but it took me like almost 3 weeks to get it. And I was like playing pretty often, probably like 40 hours a week at least. I'm sure way more actually.
Yeah.
And like if you're working like full time, like that's like a lot of time just to get like the cool benefit, which is the main reason everyone wants to try leagues is so you could try the cool relics.
Yeah, like the only way I was able to stay close with you is because I was playing like
You wake up early in the morning.
I was playing an amount of work at work that would probably get some people fired.
True.
It's just my work allows that.
Yeah.
So,
Or they put up with it rather.
yeah, like I'm able to still get my work done and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, so like I kind of agree. I feel like it should be a like a bell curve
Yeah.
where it's like, and I think there should be more relics as well because that is like a really big driving factor for pretty much everyone. I don't know who's like, "Oh, I played a lot in the beginning because I didn't want to get to tier 8. I wanted to, get tasks done or
Yeah.
something." It's like I think that'd be cool if there was like, I don't know, pretend 20 and 10 was like the guardian relic, for example. And
But then you have like less cool ones later. So then you like peak in the middle.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like maybe, dragon, we'll use that as like a similar baseline would be like the equivalent of tier 17. Like it'd still be way further down, but you'd still be unlocking things on the way.
Yeah, so then that way, even if you get the coolest one, you'll still be working towards stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it won't be like
It wouldn't be like big power spikes. Like it would be a bell
be the
curve.
equivalent of Treasure Seeker, something like that.
Yeah, or maybe you can pick up the ones you didn't get before or something like that.
Oh, that'd be
Because then
interesting.
it's like, yeah, maybe it goes in reverse, like back down
Mm-hmm.
through the ranks or something like that. Because then it's like, it's not as big of a power spike. Obviously, in this case, it probably would be if you had, 2 tick mage and 2 tick melee.
Well, yeah,
But
but
yeah,
like the smaller ones
something
though.
like that. Like maybe that just make it so you get more drops or more this or more that. Make your life like more quality of life stuff. But like the maximum damage you'll deal is at that level 10, where most people will get to within like a week or two of like serious gameplay. 3 to 4 weeks of casual gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is probably where most people quit so they can like experience
Yeah, a
it.
lot of people are quitting now 3 weeks in. Seems like
Yeah, that's just what happens.
I'm still having fun, but definitely not as like super intense about it.
Yeah, I think that would be cool because then, even the people that are like, all right, I got, tier 8 on, the first 24 hours, which I'm sure someone did. It's like, then it's like, what do you have to look forward to besides Dragon?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have to keep reminding myself that I should go for Rune because I'm like, oh, what am I even working towards now?
Yeah, because the difference
That's like
between,
this such a RuneScape thing is that you're never happy and you're always working towards something else.
yeah. And I don't know if a lot of people like realize like the amount of points to get tier 8 is almost the amount of points you need again to get Dragon.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, like, how many points are you at right now?
29,000?
29,000. I think you need 50,000 in order to get um
Dragon.
like 56,000 in order to get Dragon. So you've had tier 8 for a while now. So chances are you probably got like around halfway in order to get
Maybe.
tier 8.
I have no idea, to be honest. I
Either
wish I could remember.
either way, it's thousands and thousands of task points
Yeah.
worth
There
of
needs to be some more stuff in the middle, I
nothing to
think.
look forward to unless you're obviously going for Rune, then there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it kind of feels like an abyss after tier 8, which is like a weird feeling.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, in rebuttal to like my own thing is that when is it enough stuff? Like, because then if you keep adding more stuff, then you'll be like, then maybe people will be complaining about how like I'm like, oh, tier 8 took forever. Then maybe people would be like, well, tier 10 took forever next time. So it's like kind of never ending, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Just a
so.
weird game.
But it's not like it's not like an like never enough type of thing. It'd just be like little things to look forward to. Like even
Yeah.
if it's
Not game changing like the Undying
like
Retribution.
you're doing woodcutting right now. So it's like, what if just like at tier make believe 9, they just made it so anytime you did productions or anytime you did gathering skills, you got twice as much,
Yeah.
which is like essentially one of
I
the
think that's
tier
one of the first
one, yeah,
relics.
one of the tier 1 relics, but like it would apply to everything. So it's like obviously chances are you still have to fish even though you have tier 8.
It needs some refining, but I do like the idea.
Yeah, it's just like it's like, oh, we get you're still on this journey, but here's something to make it a little bit easier.
Goals make everything nicer.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just what I was thinking, I guess. There's
Our little
definitely
tangent.
a lot more stuff I could think of, but I don't know. It's just something I thought of.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, obviously, I want there to be more stuff too.
All right, so going right into the actual update for this week, more leagues, 4 changes. Um,
Always leagues for
yeah,
changes.
always leagues, 4 changes. There's been 3 weeks in a row of leagues stuff, so we'll try to like get this over with, I guess,
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
there's a heads
quick.
up that we should read as well. Next week's game update is going to be the final update of the year and will
Yeah,
be taking place on December 12th.
yeah. I think I mentioned it was gonna be the last one.
We did, but I just want to confirm. I don't know. Also,
Yeah.
I forgot because it's the next day if you're not watching YouTube. But they say as it stands, leagues will remain as it is over the Christmas period after next week's update, unless there are major bugs or issues that need addressing. And reminder, you can just report your bugs in the bug report feature.
Yeah, so chances are there's going to be nothing happening.
Yeah.
But there is the Christmas event coming next week,
Mm-hmm.
so that's really probably the last thing of the year that's actually happening. That's different than just regular maintenance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, though, there are quite a few. Well, I guess I won't skip over. There's actually a pretty cool video that Soup came out with. some really interesting stats on the league. They've kind of been doing this every week so
Yeah,
far.
having like a bunch of big content creators making videos for cool little fun things.
Yeah, so they have like all the stats, like how many deaths there were, stuff like that. So kind of cool to check out. Besides that, though, there are a few task updates. I guess like a lot of these were issues,
They were
essentially, were bugs.
bugbears
Yeah, they call them bugbears. Wow.
again.
Anyways, players can now equip a combination of gold and normal prospectors in order to get the task done for a full outfit.
They corrected create 100 divine super combat pots to create 50 divine super combat pots, which was always the requirement to complete it.
Yeah, it was getting completed early, and people didn't really know why.
No, it
Um,
was. Oh yeah, never mind.
yeah.
I got that backwards in my head.
Also fixed an issue where if you equip every draconic shield, for some reason it wasn't completing.
Yeah. The complete all must combat achievements task will now complete correctly when the requirements are met.
And also remove the task, or they just completely removed the task of equip a full angler's outfit from Corinne because it was already there for a global task.
Yeah.
So kind of
It's there twice.
doubled up.
Next will now count towards the 100, 250, and 500 God War Dungeon KC task.
Yep.
Don't know why it wasn't originally, but
Yeah.
okay.
So that's it for the task updates. Really
Yeah.
nothing else.
I'm more excited for this combat achievement thing that we're about to get into, though.
Yeah, so there were some combat achievement updates, and these are also for leagues, in case you're
All
wondering.
this is on leagues until us say otherwise.
Yeah. Anyways, some region-specific combat achievements that you can't complete will now be auto-completed, as they should have been because you cannot complete them. And these will be auto-completed silently when you open the area, relic, and info tabs in the league's
Yeah.
interface.
So that doesn't mean that like if I don't have access to Dagonoth Kings, all the Dagonoth Kings are finished. But an example is I was doing Abyssal Sire and there was one combat achievement I could not do because I had to have access to Vengeance. So it auto completed that one for me.
Yeah, easy
Mhm.
peasy.
Players who reach the point threshold for combat achievement tiers will now correctly unlock that tier instead of needing at least 1 point over the threshold.
Yeah.
Kind of an annoying little thing.
Kind of unfortunate. Also, lastly, using Purge as one of the 3 different prayer drain methods will now count towards completing the Versatile Drainer combat achievement.
Yep, that's a must one.
Yeah, some really specific things, but that is it. Moving on to Clue Hunter stuff.
Yeah, so they're continuing to add clues that are inaccessible during leagues, so no one's wasting time. This week, they got a few more stragglers, an easy clue which requires players to dance at the Grand Exchange with a pink shirt, pink robe top, and a body tiara. This clue is no longer obtainable for players who have not locked Kandarin.
The next one there is the last one, and they actually just removed it entirely from the league. It's the Master Cryptic Clue step where you have to talk to Survivin. I'm guessing maybe because you can't get a white plate body or something like that. Anyways, it's just completely removed, so no one can do it anymore.
Yeah, so if you for somehow you still have that, just drop it. It's literally meaningless now.
Yeah.
They've also ensured that you'll be able to pick up clue scrolls when you have a clue nest, geode, or bottle in your bank.
Yep. And then there's been a couple Guardian fixes for anyone that's on tier 8. Now,
The little girlfriend.
yeah, it kind of makes sense that you want the Guardian around pretty much all the time. So as soon as you get into combat, now it will just summon. But this is something that is on by default, and you can turn it off in the Guardian Horns options. In addition, we fixed an issue where the hit splats for both the Guardian and the Thralls were showing incorrect maxes. And lastly, speaking of your little girlfriend, lastly, a little something for fashionscapers. As of today, you'll be warned if your Guardian is wearing that rare outfit when you try to re-roll it.
Yeah.
So
There's
there
a
is
little Easter egg that we won't spoil.
yeah, a little Easter egg, a little rare. You can change the outfit of your
It's like the
Guardian.
golden chin of the Guardians.
Yeah, you can change the outfit of your Guardian and make him extra special. So
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, if it does get to that, you'll get a warning if you try to re-roll over it.
Cool. There's also some general tweaks. So using Globetrotter's last destination will now correctly account for Dragonstone Jewelry teleport. So it could be used in up to 30 wilderness.
Yep. And also, if you are one of the people that saw the Reddit post where that person had negative 200 million Soul Wars points or prayer points, it's because Soul Wars was allowing you to wrap around your level because you were able to get so much experience, the game didn't know what to do. So it's now been limited. Soul Wars points can only be spent at up to 1,000 points at a time. That's not the cap for your total points, just how much you can spend in one go.
Yeah. Players can now switch between the League's sound and regular sound of the Vengeance spell by right-clicking on it if they've unlocked the League's Vengeance. The default sound has been restored to the regular version.
And also, Tumikin's Shadow now benefits from attack speed increases from Superior Sorcerer in Soul Wars, so you can machine gun down people if that's what you want to do.
Weird that wasn't working.
Yeah, really weird. And now that it is, I'm sure people will die even faster somehow.
Yeah. The Guardian will now stun the Abyssal Sire correctly. That actually reading that made me wish I had the Guardian.
Yeah. And also, Leagues 4 emotes will now be available when the player has the full set of the Leagues 4 Relic Hunter on their League outfit stand in the player-owned house.
Fixed an issue where Zimberfizz would try to escape the Soul Wars tutorial. Where
Has
was
to
he
get out
going?
of, he has to get out of prison.
I thought that was really funny because it kind of just sounds like this NPC is stuck in purgatory and he's like, okay, this
He
is my
is.
chance. I can get out. I can get out.
He is. Also, if you ever see me looking over a lot, it's because I'm woodcutting for Michelle.
He's clicking trees for me because my mouse is far.
Yeah. Also, the scroll in the League's trophy room now correctly states your rank in previous leagues.
Fix a clipping issue with the new alchemy animations, which appeared when wearing items in both hands.
And lastly, they updated the leagues.
Leaks.
Excuse me. I think Michelle just threw her voice over here.
Is that what I sound like?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
me.
they updated the league's first bounty board, or the board where they show all the first things of the league.
Mm-hmm. On the topic of updates, we want to remind everyone that the record of your league's points in the main game are not updated in real time and could take a while to catch up to their actual value. This is a safety measure we've implemented to keep our backend systems happy, so don't worry, your missing points will appear as soon as the system catches up.
Always worried about their back ends.
Always. Who isn't?
Anyways, though, that is pretty much it. You can check out, they do have C Engineers video up here.
They have a whole community playlist of videos about league stuff you can check out.
It is pretty cool, though, if you want to see all the ridiculous things that you can do with, just
especially the range relic
stuff. Yeah, honestly, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Also, there was some chambers changes that we went over.
Main game things now. This is main game changes. So, I thought you were going to read it. We will just sat there for a second.
I introduced it.
True. So, last week's long-awaited Chambers of Xeric tweaks have gone over an absolute treat. Thanks to everyone who gave the new and improved raid a whirl and sent us feedback. So they have a few changes, as they always do with feedback. Firstly, when scaling the party during party creation, players sometimes encounter a fewer skeletal mystics than they expect. These spells are an unusual case, as unlike everything else, they spawn dynamically based on the numbers of players who are actually in the raid. They're not fooled by your invisible little friends. They're looking to adjust this so that players receive the points they expect from scaled raids. Next up, a couple of magic weapons have problems with our old friends, the jeweled crabs. Cursed crabs. I just hate them. Casting spells with the harmonized nightmare staff will result in an attack delay, and Tumikin's Shadow does not guarantee a splash even if you are minus 64 mage. Technically, that's the Shadow's fault, but we are going to be fixing it regardless. Failing Thieving Chest paradoxically gives players with 95 thieving and above a minimum of 2 grubs instead of 1. Although you're a big fan of this bug, they are going to be rolling it back because it makes thieving too good.
Yep.
Lastly, we're investigating feedback that potions dropped by NPCs within the raid aren't giving as many points as expected. We're still nailing down the root of this cause. The root cause of this issue. There we go. But we'll hopefully be able to reunite you with your points soon.
Yeah, someone was actually doing the math because, obviously people like math in this game. And someone was doing the math and they're like, you get this many points per sip of potion whenever you're in the raid.
People are very particular about people will be like, all right, now everyone take a sip.
Yeah, they're saying on average, if you drink this many sips and get this many potions per raid, it's 1,500 less points overall for the whole raid.
Yeah.
So
especially if you're scaling, stuff adds up.
If you're scaling, I feel like it might not matter at that point, but
maybe lower level then.
Yeah, I guess that's some free points.
Yeah, but that is all for the Chambers of Xeric main game changes. Those should hopefully come out in next week's update.
Yeah, a few quick other changes. They removed the level up messages from Ruinous Powers. Party balloons and clan halls should no longer drop inside walls.
Oh my god, imagining a drop party and someone puts a mega rare and it just drops into the wall.
Well, it's mega gone now.
True.
And the pursuer will no longer attack players on a different level to it, which I think is in reference to the mob in DT2. And players should no longer get stuck when generating new floors in the sepulcher. That's it, though.
It sounded like a help, I'm stuck.
Help, I'm stuck. Anyways, that's it.
There's actually something else though that came out today.
Yeah, kind of a big update.
Yeah.
I honestly, legitimately didn't expect anything else this week, but there was a
Yeah.
very
So
extensive
that's kind of why we
blog.
just zoomed through the update this week rather than talking about it too much, because I feel like a lot of this is actually very important that we read it all.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's important.
I will still be skipping around because they use a lot of words to say not very many
Okay, well, to be
things.
fair, like this entire intro we don't have to read. But just as a
Yeah.
heads up, this is Project Rebalance overview, Scythe and Fang.
Yeah, they literally say that if you
There's
do
two
not.
paragraphs talking about how long it is.
Yeah, they start off by saying that if you don't like reading, you will not like this. There's no TLDR.
Yeah.
But I will try to TLDR it.
Yeah, like they kind of go over what is Project Rebalance. We don't need to read the entire thing, but if you remember, we did talk about this during the Gam Jam. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was like the last Gam Jam. Basically, some of the mods were like, we're not going to introduce new stuff, we're going to fix old stuff.
Yeah. If you did want a too long, didn't read or didn't watch of this video or anything like that, essentially all the skills that kind of suck, like agility, thieving, mining, and stuff like that, are getting hopefully improved. And also weapons that are too good, like the Fang, and also too bad, like the Scythe, are also getting improved. So
Or nerfed.
or unimproved.
Yeah. So
So
if you don't want to listen to this, this is where you click in the timestamp to just skip to our Q&A.
yeah. But anyways, we're gonna be starting off with a brief overview.
Yeah. So, agility, slayer, thieving, and miscellaneous skilling tweaks. So, all of these are going to have these are just very, very, like you said, brief overviews. They're all going to have their own individual blogs coming out later,
Yeah,
just as a heads
everything
up.
here is gonna be extremely vague, just kind of giving
Mm-hmm.
you an idea of what they're going
Yeah,
for.
because they are, of course, looking for feedback and what people think. So, this section made up the majority of the initial Gam Jam pitch. We're not going into specific detail, like we said. We just want to give you a clear idea of everything that's being considered. So, if you have early thoughts, you could let us know. So on the table is rebalancing of agility course XP rates and requirements, removing some fail points that occur really close to the end of an agility
We're
course.
looking at you, the end of
I
Canifis.
was thinking Canopus exactly when you fall off on the second to last. I'm like, are you for real? Adjusting the level diary requirements for some agility shortcuts while exploring the potential for new high value shortcuts to make progress feel more rewarding.
Yeah, this has been always kind of like an obvious thing
Yeah,
that they didn't have for some reason.
yeah, I like that one, adding more. Improving the Brimhaven Agility Dungeon and making it a competitive, high effort alternative to more typical methods like rooftop courses. Rebalancing XP and fill rates at various NPCs to better position them within thieving progression. Rebalancing XP rates, respawn rates, and drop tables of various stalls to make them a little more desirable for everyone, not just pet hunters. Improving the Gloves of Silence. I actually really like that one. Removing various tasks from lower level Slayer monsters. Adjusting quantity of NPCs offered for lower level Slayer master tasks. Adding a new Slayer unique or two to assist with early game Slayer.
Wow.
Improving the Dorgishkon light orb activity. Streamlining creation of Guthix Rest. It's really annoying to make.
That's kind of weird though.
No, it's like several ingredients. It's
I know,
weird.
but who makes them? Like PvPers?
I mean, the host of Guthix Rest probably make them all the time. That's another RuneScape podcast. Go check me out.
Go ask Spari. I doubt they make it
Go
that
ask
much.
Bird. Adding Mako functionality to Barbarian Potions, improving the Ring of Pursuit, improving the Necklace of Faith, and reworking Epherites Aid. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Reiterating again, this is just vague stuff. They are going to have a dedicated blog on this, looking at the beginning of 2024, hopefully, to be having all these blogs coming out.
Yeah, that being said, I think a lot of these are kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Especially like the agility ones.
The rebalancing of XP rates, I'm like, please, God, make it less awful. It's real
Yeah.
bad.
I can recognize that thieving needs some rebalances. That being said, I've never minded leveling thieving because it's just clicking, which is not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think agility and next up we're talking about mining. I think that those are much bigger deals than
Yeah.
thieving.
I am glad that they're changing some Slayer stuff because it can be really not fun early on, especially. It's like, oh, go slay 10 water fiends. It's like, cool, it's going to take me longer to walk here than it is to kill
They're
them.
so far away from everything.
Yeah.
I hate
Like,
getting
this
to them.
sucks. But yeah, that's cool. Also, Ring of Pursuit and Necklace of Faith
Never
are
use
pretty
those.
much never used. Eperides is also almost never
I
used.
don't even know what all three of those things do.
The only one
So
I do know
make
is
them relevant.
Eperides. It allows you to use non-silver weapons against vampires, but it does have a max hit limit.
Oh, it has a max hit limit.
Yeah.
Lame. I was gonna say, wait, I could use that. What the heck?
I think it either has like a hit limit or like charges or something like that. Like it's
Hmm.
not as good as you would imagine
I
because of
should look
that.
into it for
Yeah.
the other accounts. I could like do Slayer on
It's
leagues.
not very good.
Not worth.
No, it's still better to use
Flail.
the flail. I'm pretty sure.
Sag. But yeah, moving on to mining.
Yes. So another skill, curiously not included with the three we've just mentioned because it sucks more than all of them combined. Anyways, what they really said
Did
is
they wrote that right?
mining's been a hot topic since our changing to shooting stars earlier this
Shout
year.
out to whoever was AFK mining Duke because I feel like you single-handedly snowballed all of this mining change.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
you're my hero.
Here are some things we'd like to dig into, though. Improving Motherlode Mine's position as a low intensity method with some ore output. Improving Volcanics Mine's approachability, which I think is
Dude,
really important.
the 150 kudos requirement to go there is nuts.
It's not that high.
It's a lot. No, I can't even get, I don't even think I could get 150 on here.
Well, okay, not on here, but if you have like a quest cape, you have it.
Yeah, but it's just training mining. Why would you need a quest cape to train mining?
I guess so.
It's just mining.
Also improving Blast Mine's viability.
I've never met Blast Mine.
Making Amethyst vein mining not
Adjusting
so
it.
lame. Adjusting mining gloves to make them actually usable. Reconsidering the hard Karamja diary requirement for the lower gem mine.
Whenever I did that on leagues, I was like, why does it need a hard diary? That feels like really extra.
Yeah, it is not
It
very
should just be
good.
like
It's really
medium.
cool because no one's ever down there.
Because
So
everyone's already past that.
yeah, exactly. Also, improve in-game messaging to encourage charge Amulet of Glory usage while gem mining
Dude,
specifically.
I literally didn't even know that did anything when you're mining gems.
Oh, you didn't?
No, does it give you like
Yeah.
extra?
Yeah, it has a higher chance. Well, it also
Never in my life have I done that.
I don't know if it's the ring or the glory that also increases your rare drop table drops. I think that's the ring
That's
of
the
wealth.
yeah, that's the ring of wealth, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, improved clue geode rates from regular mining. Add more viable spots for granite and sandstone to reduce competition for anyone looking to get into tick manipulation. Added more viable spots, or just kidding, I already said that. Adjusting Volcano so the drop system doesn't suck. And also, you can choose between higher GP or higher XP because both currently suck.
Yeah, without impacting uniques. The gold row is actually nice there. It's like a mill.
Yeah, sure.
But the XP is like 10k an hour. It's
Yeah.
a skilling boss.
That being said, you can also make, or at least you used to be able to make like 300 to 400k an hour buying and selling candles. So I mean, a
Okay.
mill is not that much.
Yeah, but I don't know if we said that won't and not it will not impact uniques as Volcano.
No, no, no. So I'm guessing they're just trying to make it more worthwhile via
I
other
love Volcano,
things.
but it also like for skilling it sucks. I just want it for the pet.
Yeah. And lastly, addressing group size scaling issues with Volcano, making finding a world kind of difficult at times. The
Yeah,
best way to do Volcano, I think, is in a 4-man
something like
in
that.
order to get the most amount of tool seeds.
But if you like want to go to mass, it can be frustrating because people will sometimes you just won't make enough points because it's so fast. It does not scale.
Yeah. And also, you'll essentially never get a tool seed.
Yeah, 900 KC still no tool seed.
Yeah. It's like one out of like
200?
several. No. Well,
Well, it's supposed to be.
if you solo it, yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, it's something
I
like that.
hate the drops that are not clear like that. That scale,
Yeah.
it always annoys me.
I think it's like 1 out of 2 or 3,000 or something like that.
Yeah. They do add a note underneath the mining though, saying that it's not going to change the metas completely. Like 3 ticking is still going to be the best XP, but they do want to make it more like accessible for everyone and have some diversity in the skilling methods, which I think is a great idea.
Yep, and that's currently the main problem with mining is that you are just power mining, or if you are AFKing because the skill sucks, then you're at Mudload Mine probably, or yeah, it's
Yeah.
just not very cool.
Speaking of not very cool, no, this is actually fine. But this is like the reason that they're gonna be doing the week by week like post on stuff because we're about to get into the more tricky stuff real quick.
More tricky
More
stuff.
tricky. They call it the heavier stuff, but that makes it sound like emotional. Like I'm gonna cry reading this.
Yeah, no, this is
Emotionally
something
taxing.
that has been, I think, at the top of a lot of people's minds recently because of leagues, but
Yeah.
it's changes to run energy because
Yes.
that system also kind of sucks.
Yeah, so this is just a short little section. So the top level overview of this is we'd like to revisit some of the work from 2022's November Game Jam and take a look at run energy drain, run energy regen, and how weight and agility level interact with all the above. I forgot that's been over a year since they talked about it.
Yep.
So these changes will involve a lot of mats and absolutely require a beta before we can discuss this in any more detail. We're waiting on engine changes that would be required to make any of these adjustments in the first
Of
place.
course.
Yeah. So we're gonna be holding off on talking about more of this until we are able to get a beta world going and try these out. They just want to keep it on your guys' radar, you know.
See you in another
They don't say
year.
anything that's gonna happen about other than, yeah, we want to do that. And this one's a lot.
Yeah.
This is when it gets heavy.
Yeah,
I think we
so
do need to read
this is
it.
the stuff that I think most people are probably interested in
Mm-hmm.
among all of these changes. I mean, sure, other stuff
The
is
skilling stuff's
important.
nice, but this is like we're
I
getting to the
mean,
big
they
stuff.
listed this in the title for a reason. So they're going to get into combat stuff. This is going to be defense changes for NPCs.
Yeah, they're gonna do an evolution of combat, they say.
Yeah, so essentially,
EOC.
it really
I'm
boils
just kidding.
down,
I'm just kidding, by the way.
honestly, kind of to like this first sentence. They say nothing feels quite as good as bringing the right tools for the job and exploiting an NPC's weakness. Um,
So bringing a Fang everywhere, bringing
exactly.
a shadow everywhere.
That being said, there's a lot of NPCs who are technically weak to certain styles, but not weak enough for it to really matter. For example, bringing Crush to gargoyles, sure, it's technically the best, but really not by
You could just
much.
bring a whip in, you're fine.
Yeah, which most people do.
Hmm.
Not like you're going to bring an Inquis mace to
Yeah,
to
no.
gargoyles. Uh, we'd like to make existing NPC weaknesses feel more pronounced so that gear progression might feel a little less linear on your way to endgame, aka, DSIM, Abbey Whip to, whatever,
Fang.
Fang, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like there's really only three melee weapons in the game, so
yeah.
um, we're not
Well, there's
looking at,
only 3 weapons.
yeah, essentially. We're not looking to change things up to the point where you can't carry on doing what you're doing. To stick with the previous example, using Nabby Whip at gargoyles will still be perfectly fine. It just might be the case where maybe a Sarachnis Cudgel pulls ahead by, just a very little bit.
As it literally should be.
If you have one kicking around, obviously. Probably not worth going to go get one, but if you have one, it might be better.
Yeah.
We don't have the full list yet, and there's too many NPCs to really list here, anyways, so we'll move on. Adjusting existing weaknesses is all good and well, but the biggest beneficiary of a change like this is obviously melee, since it has, all the attack styles. Range is really just ranged, mage is just mage, but melee is
Stab,
stab, slash,
slash.
and crush. So that'll definitely be the most, biggest impact of all of these. We'd like to at least take a look at rolling some new defense types for NPCs and exploring elemental weakness, but probably not with this.
Yeah.
Old School's combat system is iconic and integral to the game, so they have no interest in changing it.
They need to just say in caps, this will not be EOC, don't worry.
Yeah,
Because
but I
people are
mean,
going to be triggered.
yeah, I think they probably will be. Anyways, we'll further outline in this section's dedicated blog what changes they're comfortable with and stuff like that. We're not looking to evolve combat.
It's as close as they'd get to say it.
Yeah, wink, wink. But we're looking to create new avenues for rewards and give players a reason to use gear that's super cool, but often just sits in the bank gathering dust.
Mhm.
We'd like to do this by introducing range type weaknesses that mirror the breadth of melee weaknesses, such as heavy for javelins and bolts, standard for arrows, and light for thrown or knife type weapons.
I actually like this because I don't understand when I would ever in my life use knives or darts.
Yeah, except
Unless
for
you need to be
leveling.
fast and it's something you just need to tag everything.
Yeah, the only time I would ever use a thrown weapon is to open the doors for Dagonoths or
Yeah.
to throw knives and level up um my ranged, or maybe
Tagging when you're gonna burst neck
tagging when you're
rails or
bursting.
something.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever used javelins with a ballista.
Yeah. And they also want to introduce something similar for magic, like elemental weakness, that might shake up the progression. So, obviously, right now, they even say it goes from Trident to Sanguinesti to Shadow
Yeah.
in the form of air, smoke, water, ice, earth, shadow, fire, and blood. So, maybe there's going to be some enemies that are, maybe smoke devils are weak to, I don't
Whatever's
know,
opposite
water or
water.
ice or something
Mist.
like that. Yeah, I don't know, water. Ultimately, what this boils down to is maybe a heavy ballista is worth bringing to Gargs if you're like, or if you'd like to kill them with ranged, or that fire giants might take a little extra damage from water and ice spells. Kind of makes sense
Yeah.
because we're all Pokemon now.
The only thing that concerns me with this is that it will discourage people from trying out new things. Whenever I first started, I hated range and I hated mage and I only wanted to melee ever. And with this change, it kind of would have allowed me to just only melee ever.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like
It's good and bad, you know. It'd give people out of their comfort zone, but I don't know if that'd be like,
it's kind of I think it's a weird crossing point
or wouldn't get
because
them.
like what they're trying to do is make it so there's one thing that is just definitively the best here.
Yeah.
Like if there, was a clear advantage for water spells at fire giants, you'd be foolish to use anything else.
True. Honestly, that's just like a weird one for the fire giants. As a side note, they should, and fire elementals too. They're flames.
Yeah.
Like, why do I melee you?
Yeah, it makes sense. But also it's like now it's like kind of like I feel like maybe I might feel forced to like bring whatever they were weak to, even if like I wanted to train something else. Maybe it would just be like so much better that it'd be like, oh, why are you bringing melee to fire
Well, I think
giants?
that they said that it'd be like their example for the gargoyle is that it would be enough to where if you have something laying around, you'll bring it, but you won't go out of your way.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah,
They can't
that's
make it too crazy because
that.
then everyone will do it and it'll be the new meta and it'll be like the new thing.
Yeah, but then also if they don't do it well enough, then
Then no one will do it.
yeah, it would just be like the same as it is
Yeah,
now.
no, it's a very fine line that it'll be interesting to see if they're able to balance it or not.
Yeah, I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they can make it so like it'll be weak to two things, but like one more than the other. So you
Yeah.
have options.
This will be its whole blog on its own as well.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see how they discuss that.
And this is the actual one people cared about.
So, combat item adjustments. So, to start off, we'd like to bundle all the following in with defense changes beta or add them to a separate beta of their own so that you can once again get properly stuck in and give us valuable feedback.
Yeah. Infamous betas.
So, when we talk about adjustments here, they're separated to two broad categories, and we'll just call them what they are nerfs and buffs.
Oh, thank God, dude.
Yeah.
I hate it when
They're vague about it.
you know who does this is World of Warcraft. They're all
They
like
won't say the
they're
words.
like, "Oh, we made some adjustments or some improvements."
Just tell
I'm
us it's a
like,
nerf and tell us if it's a
"Okay,
buff.
this
Well, let
skill
us
is
know.
now unusable. Just call it a nerf,
Yeah.
brother."
Just
Like,
tell us what it really is. So, they do know that it's relatively rare for us to actively rebalance gear. I mean, like the last big one I could think of was like the whole blowpipe fiasco, literally 3 years ago when we started the podcast. That was happening. But as the game moves forward, we get a clear picture of more long-term issues with items that aren't living up to their potential and befitting their status, or with items that hurt existing and future reward space and actively make progression feel less rewarding. So here is a list of things that are going to be nerfed potentially and why. First off, obviously Fang. Like I love the Fang. I love how busted the Fang is, but I recognize it shouldn't be.
I'm a Fang hater hipster
Well, you don't
because
even have a Fang.
from day one,
I
I
know it
told
should be
everyone it
nerfed.
is too good of an item.
Yeah, or it should have been rare.
It got nerfed, and it's still too good of an
Dude,
item.
remember how it was before it got nerfed? It was crazy good.
It was better than the Dragonlance at Dragons.
Yeah. So, for the Fang, it's too strong on non-stab styles and harms the position of other high-value melee weaponry like the Scythe, Blade of Salador, or Inquisitor's Mace. Void Waker. Guaranteed hits that ignore accuracy checks in PvM make it difficult to design worthwhile spec DPS weapons in the future without creeping upwards significantly. So if you have a Void Waker, you're bringing a Void Waker into TOA for the core. Like, that's just the way the law works. Ancient.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, like Wraith and a few other people I know always bring the Void Waker.
I'm thinking
For their
of
specs.
yeah. Wait, for the core, you're not talking about when the core comes out of the body?
Mhm.
I thought people just use daggers there because you're already hitting max anyways.
If you have the Void Waker, I think that Void Waker is actually better.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't have a Void Waker. I don't have money
That's
for that.
that's just weird because it gives you a guaranteed hit, but just the core being exposed is guaranteed maxes. So that's why I was confused. I
I
mean,
don't know.
with the
Is that a thing? The guaranteed maxes?
well, yeah, that's why whenever you would dagger spec, it would hit 2 max hits
Oh,
on the
okay.
core.
I thought it didn't always. That I thought it was only whenever I turn on my offensive prayer too. I don't know. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know how it works. I don't want to be wrong. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's good regardless. I just didn't know they used it there.
yeah. Ancient God Sword. Current healing from special attack elongates outlast fights. elongates Outlast fights, creates too big a hit point delta even when prayed against correctly. That was a weird. I don't even know what they mean by the way that they worded that. Is that too
Um,
busted?
I think that's for PvP
Oh, is it?
because like Outlast fights are like fights where you are out eating someone else.
Okay, yeah, I literally didn't understand what like Outlast fight and stuff meant. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, and if someone runs away from an ancient godsword spec, they get damaged, and the person that did it gets healed.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, at least I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
A cult necklace. Far too
Oh
much
yeah,
power in a single
his
item.
item's busted.
Bring its power down slightly and distributes magic damage across other parts of magic progression. Given how common it is, it's like the Fang of necklaces.
It is.
It's so good,
It's
and
actually just like it's as good as like the entire ancestral set, and it costs like 200k.
yeah, I've gotten 3 of those, not even at the boss, just killing the regular Slayer mob. So that's saying something. It's too
Yeah,
common
it's
for
too
how good
good.
it
Yeah,
is.
far too good.
Tome of Fire Water. These need to be kept in mind alongside the potential for elemental weaknesses. So if elemental weaknesses pick up some of the slack for elemental damages, these tomes will likely become too strong and need adjusting accordingly.
All right.
I have a hard time imagining Tome of Fire being too good.
Also, so these are the things they're
Buffs.
planning on buffing, and also why. Sure. This is kind of just like a basial thing for combat. So they're just saying that their adjustment to hits, for
Just read it
example.
word to word. It's weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Read it word for word.
It's really easy if you do an example of if you're level 1 and you have a max hit of 1, you can hit a 0. You can successfully hit a 0. But obviously only the 1 really counts. So this can be pretty terrible. They're making it so that they're adjusting damage on hit to roll from 1 to max hit instead of 0 to max hit. And then they give
Cool.
that exact example I just gave.
Yeah, so early combat will feel better.
Yeah.
It's very
Um,
frustrating when you're trying to kill a cow.
yeah, this also improves access to information around successful Dragon Warhammer hits or Arclight hits because those ones you can also successfully hit for a 0, and that will successfully apply their debuff, but you wouldn't know
It
that.
literally makes no sense.
Yeah. Also, some buffs to wait.
Related to that, real
They
quick.
quickly gloss over additional consideration required is for the 10 hit point community, but these will be in a different blog. Some items that are actually getting buffed, besides those things we just talked about, is the scythe. Obviously,
Yeah.
one of the most pinnacle weapons in the game. Not very good right now. Not very many use cases, so they're hoping to make that better.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and the Fang more soon, too.
Yeah, same thing with the Elder Maul. It's an ultra rare, but it is not very good. So,
Yeah.
all of these things we're actually going to talk about are fairly ultra rare. But
Yeah.
the Inquisitor's mace, very rare, very good. Not really. It's very good at the things it does when it comes to crush, but not good enough to make it like worth the several hundred mil that it's worth.
Yeah.
Same thing with Soul Reaper Axe. It's kind of a little frustrating and weird and niche to use, which I think kind of everyone really expected. Just reading the description when it came out, but
Mhm.
now it's come to fruition, and it pretty much just isn't used anywhere. Um, yeah, so hopefully they'll make that better. They reduced the drain rate of bottom tier prayers like Thick Skin, Burst of Strength, and etc. Because by the time you're able to actually use them, chances are you have better prayers to use.
No, well, also they say the drain rates make them effectively unusable when they're unlocked. Because if you're like 10 and you unlock it, you can use it for like 3 seconds. And it's like, okay, that was cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like by the time you can actually use them,
Oh, you
chances
meant use them
are,
effectively.
yeah,
I,
chances are you have the higher tier ones and you'll
yeah.
just do that.
The way you worded that, I did not exactly know what you meant. So I was like, ah.
Yeah, exactly. Also, they improve Sharp Eyes and Burst of Strength prayers. Currently, the player needs at least to hit a 20 for these prayers to have any effect.
Which is really funny given how low level they are.
Yeah. I just feel like they should just be like, oh, if you successfully hit, it'll give you
Isn't it like 5%?
this much minimum damage. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Not very good. So they're looking to improve all those things: Scythe, Maw, Inquisitors, Soul Reaper, and as well as some prayers.
Yep.
But yeah, they have more details on the Scythe as well as Mumton's Fang.
Yeah. I'll
And this
read
is a separate blog.
Well, a separate section of this one for now.
Well, it will be a separate
Oh,
blog.
yeah. Okay. So I'll read Fang and you read Scythe.
Sure.
So, Fang, old school's premier tank busting stab weapon, was introduced alongside TOA, and since then we have seen conversations cropping up time and time again about its use across the board and whether its power is healthy. It's
And we've done
not.
nothing.
They did do something, it just wasn't enough. So like in particular the recent
Also, wait, hold up. Sorry to cut you off, but
it's
they
okay.
didn't even nerf it. They fixed it because it was so strong. They
They
said
said
it
it was a
was
bug.
bugged. Clearly, it was a bug. Brother, you're not fooling anyone, okay? Clearly, you just nerfed it and did not nerf it enough.
That's so funny. They even point out during DT2 that Vardorvis, which is supposed to be like weak to slash, like Fang is like the best thing to use there pretty much. So ultimately, or sorry, no, yeah, I got that correct. I'm getting stab and slash confused. But ultimately, for a stab weapon with no additional usage cost, it sits a little too close. Chargescape. To dedicated slash weapons that require upkeep, namely the Salad Blade and the Scythe. We don't want to alter its identity as a seriously strong stab weapon, but we feel like it's necessary to remove a lot of its slashing power and have it properly occupy its niche as a stab weapon so that dedicated slash weapons are able to shine where they're supposed to and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. I also them saying that made me kind of like hate the Fang even more and feel like it just doesn't have a place in RuneScape.
It does. It's a really good stab weapon.
Okay, what's a Hosta?
I don't know what a hosta is. I have a fang. The heck? Just
It's
use
like,
my
all
fang.
right, so the
Well, it's a
previous best in
the
slot
thing
stab
is,
weapon was the
it's so much harder to get. You get it from raids. Well, it's technically, compared to you get it during like Slayer and Galwar Dungeon.
yeah, I
Well, just
guess
think as the
so.
content tiers up, like raid drops have to be better.
Okay, you're right. So what's up with the rapier?
What's a rapier?
Like the
I've
two
never used that
previously
before. They
premier
don't.
stab weapons
They
that
don't
no longer
mention.
exist.
They literally don't mention the rapier at all in this entire vlog either. It's just kind of funny.
If they don't make the stab for the Fang like significantly worse than the
Okay,
rapier, they're not fixing
I'm
anything.
literally already about to say what they're about to change. So with this in mind, we feel like the cleanest solution is to have the Fang's unique double accuracy roll passive effect apply only to stab. I know that didn't say anything about what
Wow.
you're concerned about, but
No,
that
no
means
offense, but whoever wrote this is
don't be mean.
a complete fool.
Don't be mean. It
I
was
was gonna
probably
say I was
everyone.
being nice when I said that.
That's still mean.
That is so foolish.
Well, it's a good idea, but you just think it's not enough, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah, okay.
why?
You're making it sound like you don't like it at all, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's sure.
Pick
That's
up that elite
fine.
clue for me, by the way, please.
But yeah, I still don't necessarily think it's like the right change. I don't know what the right change would be. Obviously, I haven't had time to think about this, but I don't think this is the best change because again, there's other top tier stab weapons. Like hostas aren't only used for dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they were only used for dragons because they have high stab, but
Yeah.
also like the rapier is significantly more difficult to get and just is essentially you just look poor if you have it,
Mm-hmm.
is what it boils down to. Or like you're a fool. I don't
I
know.
think rapier's still better in some places. It's just scythe is so easy to get and so cheap.
Yeah, I haven't seen a rapier in game in like since leagues. Leagues was the first
To
time in like months and
I was
months and
like, to be fair,
months.
even before Fang, I don't think I would have recognized the rapier. Even if I knew someone that had it, I probably wouldn't have known what it was.
You know what's funny is I saw it in leagues. You know why? Because the
They
person
didn't have a
hadn't
Fang
done
yet.
TOA yet.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ridiculous.
Dude, getting a Fang in leagues was like life changing. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So this means that the Fang remains a fantastic generalist weapon since its accuracy rerolling allows it to perform well even against foes who aren't necessarily weak to stab, like Tecton, the Nightmare, even bosses inside the Theater of Blood. While it's possible that potential changes to NPC defense might diminish the Fang's jack of all trades stats somewhat, we still think it will prove to be an immensely valuable pickup and unlock for any player looking to make their first forays into PvM and old school. What this change does more than anything is make more room for the Blade of Salador and Scythe to be worth the cost and further cement the idea that you're bringing the right tools for the job. But that being said, let's go into the Scythe.
Okay.
You'll like this probably more.
Yeah,
I
probably
like the
because
Scythe one a
hopefully, I
lot.
mean, honestly, changing the scythe is a lot simpler of an upgrade than changing the item that I think should be potentially removed from the game.
Yeah, buffing is easier than nerfing and trying to balance it correctly for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, we have the scythe. it's getting a buff. Pretty easy. The why is pretty
Anyway,
simple.
thanks for listening.
Yeah, the why is pretty simple. They say it's because the weapon sucks. The scythe is a mega rare weapon from old school's hardest raid, but doesn't feel like it occupies the same space as the T-bow or the Tumican Shadow.
Because it doesn't.
Not even close.
It's not even close.
Since it doesn't have as many use cases as other mega rare weapons. Its usage cost is one of the highest in the game, actually just probably straight up the highest. I don't know what else they're comparing it to.
Toxic blowpipe with dragon darts.
Oh, they literally say it.
Those are the only two. Those are the top two most expensive.
And that's because dragon darts last time I checked were several thousand GP each, like 2 or 3. So that's
Really?
like such a foolish comparison because you're not going to use dragon darts unless you're rich. You're going to use amethyst darts.
I use dragon
Anyways,
darts.
that's just such a foolish comparison.
Rober, it's a true comparison.
Yeah, I guess so. Even at some places, like even the shadow is significantly cheaper than the scythe, and it's like so good in
It's
so
so
many
funny because the
places.
shadow's so busted, but like chaos runes is one of them, and chaos runes are not that bad at all.
No, chaos
They're really
runes.
not.
Honestly, since Guardians of the Rift, runes have been in shambles.
Yeah, literally.
So, anyways, their last point is even at some places where the scythe is technically best in slot, it's not good enough because it honestly just
It's
costs
just,
an arm
yeah,
and a
it's
leg
so
to use.
expensive.
Vardorvis and Duke encapsulate this fairly well, where Osmumten's Fang is hot on the scythe's heels, but has no upkeep cost.
I'm definitely the douchey rich person because I bring my scythe to Duke.
Yeah, it is faster.
You know why? Also, is because I never take my scythe anywhere, so it feels good to use my scythe.
Yeah. So they want to look at the short and long term of this weapon's buffs. Long term, we want to commit to adding more content featuring low defense / weak 3x3 or bigger bosses, where the scythe is likely to shine.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why didn't they add that with TOA? Like
No one
everyone thought
knows.
that they would.
Yeah, no one
Everyone's like,
knows.
surely scythe's gonna go up, and then it didn't because they didn't
Yeah.
do that.
Or just make it so that scythes hits work on a 2x2.
That would be another option. I don't know if there's two. I don't know the sizes of a lot of mobs. I don't know if that'd be too busted.
I think a lot of mobs are 2x2.
So it might be too good.
The thing is, that doesn't get rid of the fact that it costs like
It's
900 GP to swing it once. You miss or hit, it's 900 GP.
spoiler.
I know.
That's gonna change.
I've read. But still, it is 900
As is right now, it makes
GP.
no sense.
Ridiculous. Anyways, though,
I don't even know where we were.
we've been adding more NPCs with higher defense values and trying to make defense feel more relevant in old school as a balancing factor. Historically, you generally bring your hardest hitting weapon to any fight since monsters either had such low defense they actually didn't matter, or could just lower their defense at the same point anyways. BGS and Warhammers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Players complained that accuracy felt useless as a stat, so they changed it, but that also ruined the scythe.
Yeah.
This big lesson here is to do a bit of both. We've added a lot of tanky NPCs recently, and we can pull back and release some low defense ones again to try and keep a healthy balance.
Yeah. The key is just don't go so far in one direction.
Who would have thought? It's worth noting that when the scythe is already good, it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Its DPS potential is beyond that of the T-bow and the Tumican Shadow, which is why it's good nowhere. And we believe that the main thing separating the scythe from other mega rares is the sheer volume of content where the T-bow and the Tumican Shadow are best in slot.
I'm pretty sure Shadow's best in slot every boss ever in the game that's ever existed.
Yeah. Also, this comes back to a big thing that I mentioned in our previous podcast where damage uptime is actually such a big factor in certain damage types. Like this is a prime example. Like even though the scythe is technically 4 times stronger than your average bear,
Mm-hmm.
you can't use it because it just you can't get damage on bosses that often.
True.
Anyways, in the short term, we want to make a few direct changes to the scythe, ultimately aiming to give it a good edge in a few more instances without over buffing it, hopefully. With that in mind, we want to give scythe a slight accuracy buff. So they're going to add 15 / accuracy to the scythe.
Okay.
Also,
I mean, it doesn't feel good whenever you go and hit and it's 3 zeros.
Yeah.
You're like, how?
Additionally, we've aimed to cut the cost down so that even in places where it doesn't utterly steamroll the second best in slot option, the time saved or the GP per hour made feels worthwhile. with that being said, they're making it so that only going to cost 1 vial of blood and 200 blood runes instead of 1 vial of blood and 300 blood runes.
Per 100 charges for that.
Yeah, per 100 charges. Um, that's going to make it so per hour, if you were just swinging constantly, it would go from 930k per hour to 700k, saving you about 230k per
It's
hour.
like massive.
It's a 26% cost reduction.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, and the swing cost, by the way, taken on November 28th, was 779 gold per swing, whether that was hit or miss.
Yeah, and this is after all the runes are in shambles. So imagine when
Sure, it used to be more.
the runes weren't in shambles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're changing it. Also, they're making it so that your runes will only be used, or
Your
your charges
charges.
will only be used when you actually land a hit.
That's huge.
Currently, it does it whether you miss or not.
Yeah. They're like, it isn't a frequent occurrence with it to hit 3 zeros. And I'm like, I feel like I'm constantly hitting 3 zeros. What do you mean?
Yeah. Also, they do have examples for use cases for this. Example like the big boss at Nilo and stuff like that. So they kind of have a reference for stuff, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of numbers, so I'm not going to go over
Yeah,
all of
going
them.
into numbers never sounds good.
Anyways, though, they finish off by saying that we believe that these changes in the scythe intentional long-term boss design, as well as the previously mentioned changes to the Fang, put the scythe and the melee landscape as a whole in a much healthier spot.
Agree.
Still don't know why you can't just
You want to nerf the Fang more.
well, no, I want it removed. But that being said, I don't know why you can't just corrupt the scythe.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Just be able to corrupt everything.
It's weird because people complain about charge escape, but they also don't like it when you could corrupt it and no longer charge it. And I'm like, which one do you dislike more?
I mean,
Corrupted or charge?
brother, make the corruption 100,000 blood runes. I don't care, because
Make it a
if
million.
you have 200,000 blood runes, you will eventually run out.
Mm-hmm.
You will. It doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
just make it corruptible.
Should make it like crazy hard to do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a lot of chargescape. Like, that's still expensive. Like 500 GP, 600 almost GP per swing.
It's a lot.
That's still a lot, and that's with runes being high alch value essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it
In
won't get
shambles.
it will not get any cheaper than that.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that's a bad move. I just don't think it's, well, we'll see. I just don't know if it's the best move.
Yeah. What's next? What's next is mostly just waiting and seeing. Many of the topics within this project are too big to properly grasp just by reading a blog or watching a video. While we're happy to kick off the conversation today, ultimately we want you to see for yourself and give feedback based on experience and feel rather than predictions and spreadsheets. So they are going to begin rolling out some dedicated blogs for all of the things we talked about today in early 2024, starting with the skilling related adjustments before moving into the combat stuff. They don't have a date set, but they do say that they're like looking to start locking in dates to let us know. So that's something we could look forward to.
Sure.
But yeah, let them know your thoughts per usual on this. I think that they're in general pretty good. I'm happy that they're actually doing it because Fang's been something that people have been talking about since it literally came out. And with Fang, always Scythe Averter conversations are following closely behind because it's like, why even Scythe if you could just Fang?
True.
True.
Yeah, and while I am obviously always critical of Jagex, these changes are generally good.
Mm-hmm. The skilling ones are really good too.
Usually when I'm critical, I think they could just be better. That
He's
being said,
critical because he loves it.
I still think the Fang is a trash item. I don't know why they added it to the game.
I love the Fang.
They're all like, oh, here's the Rapier 2.0, get trashed, idiot. They are telling us the hardest raid in the game. You know, it's fine. It's fine. The raid just has 2 of the best in slot items of the game. It's totally fine.
Are you okay?
It's okay. And also the best in slot range gear. It's totally fine. We can move on to questions.
Yeah, RuneScape Q&A first. The first question is from Harger over on Discord. So Harger asked, would you be okay with Jagex removing unpopular areas from the game? Areas that have no or little use and that take up a large area on the map that's unnecessarily making the world feel emptier. Matt responded to that, by the way, saying, remove everywhere except for wilderness and watch the world die.
Okay.
And also pointed out that no, it wasn't Ivor who said that because that's definitely something Ivor would say. Ivor would have described how you die in detail, though.
True. Gruesome detail.
True, he does do that. What do you think? Getting rid of stuff with little use?
No. I'm a really big fan of revamps.
That's my answer, too. I don't say get rid of it. I say make it cool. Do something with it.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I don't know if we've seen that a ton in RuneScape, but I mean, I've seen that a ton in other games where like areas that maybe even like the least popular areas become some of the most popular because they go back and make them useful again.
Yeah.
Because obviously, a game that's 20 years old, chances are the same places that used to be important aren't anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's something like they were talking about, like the skilling, like adding more sandstone stuff. That's something that you could do to just make the desert feel less empty, is like add more little mining pits randomly throughout it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just adding activities. I definitely am a much bigger fan of making it better than removing it, because I think that all of it has potential to be like more popular, Maybe not
yeah.
as popular as like the GE, but
Yeah.
something.
At some point, chances are most places in RuneScape were important at one time or another, so it's just a matter of making them important again.
Yeah. Something that made
Doesn't have to be super important though.
Something that made me like sad about the DT2 quest is that you're like in Camdazal and like in this little city, and it's like,
The content was
why
dead on arrival, brother.
there's I don't even, as far as I know, there's literally not a point to it. I'm like, I like it, but maybe it could have been like an instance and you can't go back, because what was the point of that entire area? You just added so much stuff to it.
They're like, here's a free to play
And I'm
area
like,
that sucks.
no, not just Camdazal, but there's a city underneath Camdazal to reach
Oh,
it.
okay.
I was thinking that instead they could have just made Camdazal like the entrance to it, rather than like going through this little city now that has no point. I don't know. I think they could do more with what they have, and it seems like they're kind of realizing that themselves, like that we should just like revitalize stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing it more and more, and I am a fan of that.
Yeah.
Harger also asked, what about weapons and armor that basically have no use anymore, regarding removing them? And I should note, Harger asked this before this new blog came out.
True.
Because, I mean, before the blog, maybe it would have been like, sure, but now the blogs come out and they're like, all right, we're going to try to make everything a little bit more relevant and have its own niches. So now I definitely don't want to remove stuff.
I definitely think some stuff is like really close for me on like why is it in the game?
I always have in the back of my head, though, is that something is going to be someone's favorite, no matter how niche it may be to me.
No,
Like,
that's
someone definitely
fine.
likes it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, for instance, the I don't yeah, I mean, I would be a fan of revamping things more still, but I mean, I think there are definitely arguments for removing things
Mm-hmm.
like armors and weapons more, a lot more than areas, just because some of them are like actually useless. Like no one will ever use certain items.
Yeah.
And maybe those should look to get either seriously reworked or removed or just put into a better place. But the thing is, there's so many items in the game,
There's a lot of stuff.
and
One
it's
time, whenever we were stuck in traffic, Robert and I were playing like 20 questions with RuneScape items. And that made me realize how many items there are.
yeah.
As I was scrolling through a list, I kind of got to cheat almost, because I had a wiki and he did not. And I was like, I'm going to choose this item I've never even heard of before.
Also, I mean, if we're being like honest, you could if we were like objectively looking at this, you could put the rapier into this category. Like, what does
Okay.
it do? It's not an item that you go for in between the whip and the fang.
I honestly don't know. I've never used rapier. I don't know enough about it to feel like I
It's
could even
it's a high
contribute to
end
it.
stab weapon. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
but I know some people still like it, and I don't know why that is.
Sure,
So,
maybe it has an extremely niche use, but as far as I understand, it doesn't have a spec, so it's harder to get. It's more expensive, and it's worse as far as accuracy and strength. I'm pretty sure from a more
well,
difficult raid.
maybe that will change. We'll see with the Fang.
Yeah, maybe. But as far as it stands right now, like you could make an argument to remove the rapier. It wouldn't really change most people's game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's why I'm not a fan of removing things. You should just make the game better.
Yeah. Next up, we have a question from Matt. Would you be up for introducing pet dogs into the game? Yes, and they were supposed to. There was
There
like
are
renderings
doggies.
of them made, and they
Yep.
were gonna be like cats, and then seemingly they just like kind of forgot about it, or
Yeah.
more likely, they got distracted by TOA and DT2 and all this other stuff and leagues. But yeah, they were supposed to, and I was actually quite looking forward to that. The drawings were really cute.
I was quite looking forward to it.
What about you? Pet dogs?
Yeah, they should add
Yeah.
it.
I'd
Also,
want them to be like the cats though, you know, like easy to get.
I know everyone would hate this, but I do think it's really cool whenever I come across things like this in video games.
Okay.
I really like the idea of like pets picking up items for you.
Oh yeah, no one wants that.
So I
Except
feel
for
like
you.
if you could equip like like everyone could do this as long as you had a pet. I think it'd be cool
It's
if
on your back.
you could equip it with a ring of wealth
Oh,
and the pet could just pick up gold for you.
maybe just gold, you know,
Like
nothing too
so that
much.
just so that you could free up your ring slot.
Yeah, I think that would be too good though. I don't know.
Cuz then I mean you're only going to use it when you're killing mobs that drop GP, so like gargoyles or something. And it'd just be nice if you can kill them a little bit faster.
Yeah. Might
And
be a little too
then
spicy though.
obviously like I said, everyone's going to hate it, but I think that's the least offensive way to add it to the game.
Hmm.
I
I
think
mean,
that'd
I
be
was
cool.
just thinking like a cat related to a quest, and you know, you could trade the cat in for death runes. You could trade the dog in for blood runes or something.
Oh, okay.
I just want it in my
All
house.
right. Yeah. But yeah, generally pets are cool.
Yeah. Matt also had an in real life question. I love this. What's your favorite dog? Mine is Boston Terrier, but I don't own a dog. We also don't own dogs. I have like a top 30 list. Do you
A
want
top
do
30 list.
you want to start? What's your, because I'm thinking in my head, yours is Golden Retriever.
No,
Oh, mine's Samoyed.
because I've seen a terrible golden retriever.
Robert, at Disneyland, they have like their little security dogs. And we went once, and there was like a golden retriever, like little teen, like not a baby, but not an adult. And he looked like he was just messing around on his job. He wasn't even doing anything. And Robert's like, what a terrible boy. So now every time he sees a golden retriever, he's like, he looks like a terrible man. He was
Well,
actually very cute.
the only reason is because I've seen some terrible golden retrievers.
The guy doesn't.
Not just the one at Disneyland. But you know what? I've never seen a terrible one of.
Wiener dog.
No.
That though.
That's a pretty good one
Yeah,
though.
I've actually seen a terrible one.
Is
But
gonna
yeah.
be a large chocolate man.
Oh, chocolate lab.
Chocolate lab. They are always the thickest, most loving dogs.
They're always sweet, aren't they?
They are always sweet. And they're always the like 9 out of 10, like 10 out like 9.9 out of 10 petable dogs.
My eyes are literally watering thinking about dogs. I know I like am always talking about cats and I want cats. I still love dogs like just as much. It's just cats seem easier to wish for. But oh my god, that's so cute. My favorite is probably Samoyed. They're the big fluffy cloud ones, and they just always look like they're smiling, and they have little soft ears. Um, some special shout outs though to Velvet Hippos, pit bulls. They're
Mr.
just
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. We want to get a pit bull someday. Name it Mr. Worldwide. Seems like a missed opportunity. Wraith, if you're listening, I know you like have a vendetta and you think they're bred to kill, but they are cute. I just like looking at puppies now and being like, they're bred to kill, by the way, just because you said that.
Those terrible boys.
But they're just as terrible as the Disneyland Golden Retriever. But I think that they're so cute. And they also are one of the dogs that I just like dogs that always look like they're smiling, you know? It's just how the way their faces are, you know? That's just what they look like. But they're so cute. And then to long-haired wiener dogs.
Yeah, long hair.
We saw one this weekend. Man, we were like following him, half on purpose, half on accident. But it's like every corner we turned, he was just like there, just walking. And sometimes they have big bellies, and their bellies are like touching the ground. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want a collection of dogs and cats, and then to just lay with them all like what?
Yeah.
That's my dream.
But that is it, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry for like the weird pacing. I think we're kind of trying
We
to
started out slow and we're trying to
Yeah,
expand it,
we're
and then
trying
there's
to
more
elongate the first half and then realized
speed through the
that
second.
they dropped like a 20 paragraph blog in
Yeah.
the second half. So apologies, but
A weirder
hopefully it was
episode.
fine.
Also, I feel like we're just higher energy today because we had cheeseburgers today, and that always
Yeah,
gets us high.
I was extremely tired yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, I was extremely tired just now. I was playing Path of Exile and I fell asleep twice at my desk.
Yeah, but I feel like you really got more. You know why? Because the Fang gives you so heated it woke you up.
It does.
Honestly, I
It
think
does.
that actually woke you
Honestly,
up.
I hate that item.
I don't know why you hate the Fang so bad.
It is so unnecessarily
He's
good.
so tired, and then someone mentions the Fang, and he's like, "What did you just say?"
It is so stupid.
I
That'd be,
love it.
That'd be the same as if they're all like, you know what? New raid, it's underwater. Tebow
You're so
2.0.
stupid.
Like,
Anyways,
how
starter
stupid.
outro.
Anyways, though, hopefully you all enjoyed it. And if you did, you can check us out on some socials.
Yeah, our Twitter, TikTok are both Bunebape OSRS. Our Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch are Bunebape. I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. And a reminder, I am sponsored by Genshin Impact this week. So if you have not played, I streamed it last night. I think everyone that plays RuneScape has played, which
Yeah.
is a big whoops.
Everyone's played Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, so I'd recommend checking it out. You can find the
Use
link
my link in the
in
description.
So hopefully you all enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you all.
Very soon. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.